Before Apple became one of the most powerful technology companies on Earth, it started inside a small garage. In 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak wanted to make computers simple enough for everyday people to use. At the time, computers were huge, expensive machines, mostly used by businesses and scientists. But Wozniak had built a small personal computer that impressed everyone who saw it. So the two friends started Apple Computer Company from Jobs' parents' garage in California. Fun fact, to help fund the company, Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen van while Wozniak sold his scientific calculator. Their first product, the Apple I, was built by hand and sold as a motherboard, without a monitor, keyboard, or case. Despite its simplicity, the computer attracted attention from hobbyists and tech enthusiasts. Then, Apple released the Apple II. It became one of the first highly successful personal computers ever made and helped launch the home computer revolution. Suddenly, Apple was growing fast. But Steve Jobs wanted more than just computers. He wanted technology to feel beautiful, simple, and revolutionary. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh with one of the most famous commercials in advertising history during the Super Bowl. The Macintosh introduced millions of people to graphical interfaces and computer mice. But behind the scenes, Apple faced major problems. Jobs clashed with company executives and was eventually forced out of Apple in 1985. Fun fact, imagine creating a company, then getting fired from it. After leaving Apple, Steve Jobs founded another company called Next and also purchased a small animation studio that would later become Pixar. Meanwhile, Apple struggled throughout the 1990s. The company lost money, products failed, and many people believed Apple was close to collapse. Then, in 1997, Apple made a shocking decision. They brought Steve Jobs back. That moment changed everything. Jobs simplified Apple's products and focused on innovation. Soon came the colorful iMac, followed by one revolutionary product after another. The iPod changed music forever. The iPhone transformed smartphones, and the iPad helped create the modern tablet market. Fun fact, when the first iPhone launched in 2007, many experts believed it would fail because it didn't even have a physical keyboard. Instead, it became one of the most successful products in history. Today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world, with millions of people using iPhones, MacBooks, AirPods, and Apple Watches every day. From a tiny garage startup to a global technology empire, Apple proved that innovation, design, and bold thinking can completely change the world.